Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kwadash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, the leaders of all Israelites in these end times, showing us the correct way to salvation. Shalom to you, Akwaf, in order, meaning you Israelite sisters that are in order. Shalom to you brothers out there teaching on the highways and hedges, teaching the correct doctrine. And shalom to you Israelites that look like these other races of people, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you a Hebrew Israelite regardless of your appearance, because it ain't about color, it's about the chosen seed line. And our seed was scattered among all nations, therefore we're going to look like all nations, all right? So shalom, and shalom means peace be unto you. So in this lesson, I'm not sure as of yet what I'm going to title it, somewhere along the lines of, the power of the tongue. But that's what, that's basically the gist of the lesson. We're going to go into the fact that the tongue, it can be very powerful in a positive way, or it can be very destructive. It can cause a lot of destruction, even though it's just a small part of your body, a very small organ in your body. It can cause a lot of destruction, and we're going to go into that in this lesson, mainly focusing on the hip-hop industry, man, the music industry, okay? Because what Esau has done, being that he was blessed with the sword, he's weaponized the music industry against us. And psychology is also a form of his sword. He likes to attack us psychologically through the music, manipulating your mind, okay, just like he does through his propaganda and his media. It's all psychologically manipulated to achieve a specific goal, okay? And that goal is to ultimately destroy us as a nation. And it's worked like a charm. I mean, most of the bad behavior that comes from our people is due to, the drill music, the hip hop music that they listen to, the hardcore rap, the gangster rap, causes brother to hate brother. And it causes us to destroy one another by, selling each other drugs or killing each other or violating another man's property, being their wife or whatever. Okay. And this is all promoted, this type of behavior, through the music. All right. And I want to show you an example in this lesson of what, the music can do to fragile minds. Let's just say people that, are none the wiser and don't understand what this music is actually doing to them. Okay. Because if you don't understand that this music is weaponized against you psychologically, then you're not going to, do what you need to do to defend yourself from that, because you're not going to be, you're not going to be privy to, the attack against you. All right. So anyway, without further ado, I want to go ahead and play this clip right here first. And then I got a precept or two, and then I want to show you the effects of gangster rap on our people, man. Okay, an example of that. All right, so check this out.
Music. Since nobody's gonna say it, I will. Social engineering through music is real, and rap is the most influential and destructive of them all. Most people argue that music is just music and that hip-hop just reflects reality, but that's not true. Music creates reality. For example, when NWA released The Police in 1988, violence against cops rose 300%. That alone shows you how powerfully music influences societal and cultural trends. What the industry won't openly share is the suppressed history behind the rise of gangster rap. Just like the CIA introduced crack cocaine into black ghettos of America in the 80s, thus creating the crack epidemic, the music industry has its nefarious ties as well. In the early 90s, high-level music executives had private financial interests with newly built and privately owned prisons, and they ordered hip-hop artists to diverge from conscious rap to promoting drugs, violence, and sex, thus resulting in the mainstream advancement of gangster rap. The covert goal was to encourage hip-hop artists to promote criminal behavior, to increase incarceration rates, and fill up the privately owned prisons, which would in turn make the executives richer. We've seen the same trend with pharmaceuticals influencing pop culture, given that 50% of songs include illicit drug references, and opioid sales have increased 129% since 2000. Music we see today is nothing but controlled hypnosis over youth. Now remember, if you can control the music, you can control the children.
Yep. If you can control the music, you can control the children, she said. Let's quickly show you where it says that in the scriptures, because she's absolutely right. You control the music, you can control the children. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So, you know, what you drill in a child's head from a youth, you know, from a young child, you know, they're going to soak that up. It's going to mold them into who they grow to be. All right. And Esau knows this. This is why they teach certain things in the school curriculum at a very young age, to drill it in their head to sort of mold their reality, because, you know, children are fresh in this world, are just, they're keen to learn because they're curious about the world they've been born into. Okay. They just appeared as a baby and they don't know what's going on. Okay. So whatever they're told, they soak it up because they're subconsciously trying to learn about the reality that they're in. All right. And they have no idea that this music is weaponized against them. But Esau knows, in his grown mind, he knows what he's doing. The child is none the wiser, and the child will look at what they see on the TV, and, you know, it will shape their mind. It will make them think that that's what life is. You know, we got to get the money. You know, black men, this is how we behave. You know, this is just us. You know, our women, they're ratchet, loud, ghetto. Hey, that's just how we are. That's our people. You know, this is what we grow up thinking when certain things are pushed on children at a young age, i.e., you know, the rap music. All right. This is why it's very important to control what your children watch, you know, especially in a young age, man, when they're not mature enough to, you know, understand what they're watching. That's why it says here in Proverbs 22 and 6, I'll read it again. Train up a child in the way he should go. Okay. And he should go according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Bible. So this is what we should be instilling in our children at a very young age. All right. So that they don't depart from that. That's why it says, and when he is old, he will not depart from it, because he's been molded into that life. You understand? Okay. And Esau understands this. This is why he's weaponized music against our youth and our women. Okay. So I want to quickly show you a scripture in the book of James, and then we'll go to the next clip. Where are we at? James, what was it? Chapter 3 and verse 5. And we'll start up a bit, maybe in verse 2, I think, to give it more context. This is James 3 and 2. It says, for in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Okay, because if you don't offend in word, meaning you're not offending with your tongue, your mouth, you know, you're a perfect man. That's why the scriptures say that, you know, the elect in their mouth is found no guile, meaning deception, okay, or lies or trickery. Okay. That's why it says, if any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man. And the Lord says, be ye perfect, even as my Father in heaven is perfect. And the way you're perfect is, you know, by not, you know, not letting what comes out of your mouth defile you. Okay, it says, and the same as a perfect man and able to bridle the whole body, meaning you have control of your body, you know, if you have control of your tongue. Okay, because the tongue can control the whole body. Okay, and it's going to further expound as we go along. So James 3:3, it says, behold, we put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. See? Because when you put a bit in a horse's mouth, it obeys you, and you pull it on a certain side to the right or whatever, it's going to move to the right. Okay. And it says in verse 4, it says, behold, also the ships, which though they be so great, meaning massive, it says, and are driven off fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, which I'm assuming is like the wheel. It says, whithersoever the governor listeth. Okay, so, you know, ship is controlled by it's a big thing, a big structure, but it's controlled by a very small thing, just like a horse's mouth controlled by a, you know, a bridle. Okay, you put a bit in their mouth or whatever, right? So verse 5, this is the point. It says, even so the tongue is a little member, meaning a tiny organ in your body, right? Even so the tongue is a little member and boasteth great things. Okay, so, you know, men greatly boast with that little member. It says, behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Okay, so what that's saying is that even though the tongue is so small, it can kindle a massive fire. All right, Salakia, I had a phone call. Yeah, so let's read verse 5 again, James 3:5. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly turn to the blue letter, and we're going to bring out this same precept in the book of James 3:5. And we're going to read that in the NLT. It says, in the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. Okay. So, yeah. So the tongue is very powerful, man. If used in the wrong way, it can do a lot of damage. Okay, even though it's a very small member. All right, and let's just show you a visual example of that in this clip I want to bring out real quick.
I wanted them to be up there.
Up there? What do you mean up there? Up there where?
I wanted them to be dead.
You wanted them to be dead. Why? I'm still a little confused. Why would you want your mother and your family to be dead? What did they do to you for you to want them to be dead? You just told me they don't abuse you. They feed you every day. You got a beautiful big home here. You look like you're well taken care of. You don't have any mental illnesses. You think very well. You speak very well. So why would you want these people dead? Please give me an answer.
I seen it on YouTube.
You seen it on YouTube. Isn't that interesting? Nathan, keep talking. You seen somebody said kill parents, or how to kill parents, or parents should be dead, or I don't understand. Explain to me. Speak up, please.
When I was watching on YouTube, I saw this little kid say that he wanted to kill his mom and his dad, his grandma.
You saw on YouTube a kid saying that he wanted to kill his grandparents and his mother.
And what he's talking about is this this music video a while back. Some little kid was promoted to make a music video that says, I want to kill my mom, I want to kill my dad. All right, a few brothers did lessons on it way back in the day, but this is the outcome of that years down the line after that song was released. this little kid had caught wind of that video. That's what he was referring to, the video he saw on YouTube. And he said that he saw some little kid rapping about how he wants to kill his mom. Now, this boy was saying to his dad that he wanted to do the same thing because his fragile mind is basically copying and idolizing what he sees in these hip-hop videos, man. And I knew this was going to happen. As soon as he released that song, and I'm going to show you the song in a minute. Lord willing, I don't get a copyright strike, but I'm going to do it for educational purposes, all right? Not making money off the video or anything. It's a fair use. But, yeah, man, you know, I'm going to show you in a minute what he's talking about. But, you know, we knew, us brothers, you know, of the hopeful elect, we knew the effect that this would have eventually at some point. That it will have little kids talking about how they want to kill their parents and stuff like that, or even, you know, actually committing the act or whatever, you know. So, without further ado, let me quickly show you the video that I'm referring to, right? And like I said, fair use, fair use. Okay, I'm not making money for this. This is for educational purposes only. So fair use, fair use.
Devil, this shit hard.
I wanna kill my mom, kill my mom. I wanna kill my dad, murder him. I wanna kill my grandma, kill my grandma. I wanna kill my mom, kill my mom. I wanna kill my dad, murder him. I wanna kill my grandma, kill my grandma. I wanna kill my dad. He made me go to sleep and now I'm mad. My uncle Lamborghini go too fast. I'm finna hit him on blow some cash. I sound the Zulu once again. I'm going viral once again. I'm only 6, I'm paying rent.
He said he's 6. The song is whack, okay? And, you know, this is just wickedness, man. Talking about, I want to kill my mum. Like, what a crap song. Who would make a song like that? Our people are through, man. Bunch of damn degenerates, right? And as a result, you got this little Ute man right here talking about how he saw the video and it made him want to kill his mum, man. You know? So we knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time, man. Let's turn to the book of Proverbs. All right, let's see what the Bible has to say about this. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21, okay? Let's highlight that real quick. So this is Proverbs 18 and 21. It says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Okay, so, you know, life and death are in the power of the tongue. You can speak life into a person, or you can speak death into a person. Okay, you can put negative spirits on a person. Some call it some say you'll bring a negative energy around or whatever. Even in the tone that you use, you know, some people want to talk like Eeyore on that donkey on Winnie the Pooh, always down, you know, always speaking like you're damn half asleep or tired. You know, that can cause another person to, you know, be on a downer, you know. You know, if you're speaking negative all the time, that can cause people to feel, you know, unease, you know. The point being that, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue, man. It says, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So, you know, if you love, you know, you reap what you sow, basically. You love, you know, talking about negative things, you're going to reap that, you know. So anyway, I got another precept I want to bring out. Let's scroll up a bit in the same chapter, and we're going to read verses 6 through 7. Let's highlight that. Proverbs 18 starting at 6. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. Okay, so a fool's lips enter into contention. Let's quickly see what that says in the Blue Letter Bible. That's Proverbs 18 and 6, right? Yeah, let's go to the Old Testament. Proverbs 18. Scroll down to 6. Let's see what it says in the NLT. It says, fools' words get them into constant quarrels. It says they are asking for a beating. Okay, so that's what that one says, right? And then when you read verse 7, it says, a fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. So in the music industry's case, especially that little boy that was rapping about killing his mum, it says a fool's mouth is his destruction, okay? Because this is the type of people you're going to produce. You know, when they listen to that type of music, they're going to go around and you know, terrorize your community, man. Okay, you're bringing about your own destruction, you know, pushing out music like that. It says, and his lips are the snare of his soul. See? So you bring about your own problems, you know, in your community by pushing this type of music, this type of degenerate music upon your own people, man. Okay, a fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. Let's see what that says in the NLT, verse 7. It says, the mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. See? Setting a trap for your own self, man. You ain't doing yourself no favors by pushing garbage like that, man. All right, let's turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, and we're going to read verse 9. Yeah, it says, Proverbs 11 and 9, an hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. So this is a beautiful scripture right here, because it's basically saying two things. It's saying that a hypocrite, okay, meaning a wicked man, you know, somebody that is let's just say living ungodly. Okay, let's break that down in the NLT real quick. Proverbs 11 and 9. Let's go to back. Let's get back to don't know what happened there. Let's go to Proverbs 11. Let's scroll down to 9. In the NLT, it says, with their words the godless destroy their friends. Okay, so there's talking about the godless. It says, but knowledge will rescue the righteous. Okay, so on the left in the KJV again, it says, an hypocrite, okay, the godless, with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor. Okay, pushing that rap crap, man. And that's just an example, okay? Pushing that rap bull crap upon our people, man. You're destroying your neighbor with your mouth, that little member, that tongue. It says, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered, okay, which lines up with, as a precept, Isaiah 33 and 6. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh is his treasure. So the strength of your salvation is possessing wisdom and knowledge, okay? So if we go back to Proverbs 11 and verse 9, it says, an hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just, which are the Israelites, okay, but the righteous of our people, but through knowledge, wisdom and knowledge is our stability, remember? But through knowledge shall the just be delivered. Okay, that's why it says that wisdom and knowledge is our stability and our strength of salvation. Okay, so I just had to throw that one in there. Now let's turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 12. Let's just do this up. Chapter 12 from verse 18. Let's highlight that one too. Yeah, that's all we need to read. So Proverbs 12 and 18, it says, there is that There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. Let's quickly turn to the NLT and see what Proverbs 12 and what was it, 18? Okay, so let's see what it says in the NLT, Proverbs 12 and 18. It says, some people make cutting remarks, but the words of the wise bring healing. Okay, so let's go back to the KJV. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword. So, you know, you got people that speak damaging words, let's just say, right? It says, but the tongue of the wise, which, you know, in this case would be the elect. Okay, the tongue of the wise is health. You know, when we bring out this gospel and do these lessons, okay, those that receive it is health to them, okay, because it renews your mind and makes you a wiser person. And when you walk through life with wisdom, your life will, you know, it ain't gonna be perfect, but it'll run a lot smoother if you contain wisdom, okay, and that's just general wisdom, okay, but wisdom of the Holy Bible, you know, that's the best type of wisdom you can get. All right, but either way, you know, wise in any manner, you know, it's good to be wise, man, you know, and the tongue of the wise will make you wise, okay, and that will bring health to your body, man, you know, because, you know, your mind state, you know, reflects your body's condition. And if you're sick in the mind, you know, you suffering mental health, then it will affect your physical health in a negative way. But your mental health can be increased and, you know, you're uplifted if, you know, you constantly absorbing words of the wise, okay, i.e. the prophets. All right, not these rap idiots, man. Okay, that's just a quick precept just popped to mind. Song of Fools. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 5. It says, it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. Okay, and in this case, you got this little idiot right here, Song of Fools, man. This song is absolutely trash, and it's absolutely damaging, man, which makes it even more trash. It's just garbage all through, all round, man. It's all round garbage. All right. So it says, surely, it says in verse 5 again, it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise, okay? And that's, you know, an example of that would be like this lesson here. This is a form of rebuke, okay? I'm rebuking the ways of, you know, 2/3 pushing that rap crap, okay? And I'm showing you how it can destroy the mind of these youths, man. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 4. It says, for the Most High commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. Okay, and this is repeating what was written in the book of Leviticus, right? Let's just go to it. Leviticus 20 and 9. I think it's verse 9. Yeah. So this is Leviticus 20 and verse 9. It says, for every one that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He have cursed his father or mother, his blood shall be upon him. Okay, so you brought it upon yourself when you get put to death. Okay, your blood is on you. All right, because, you know, the scriptures say that we're not supposed to do that, man. Your mother gave life to you, and here's you promoting songs for all the youths in America to sing along to, talking about how you want to kill your mom. You know, how wicked can you be, man? All for the love of money, man. Okay, which is the root of all evil. This is why, you know, people, you know, I wasn't going to bring that out, but I might as well. Root of evil. Okay. Might as well bring this out, man, because, you know, this is the very reason why that little Ute, man, was pushing that wicked song. All for money and fame and riches, man. Right, so let's just read, let's get to the point. 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Because it can destroy your life if you go chasing money, man. Okay. But the point is that, you know, the love of money, there's nothing wrong with having money, but the love of money, when you chasing money hard, you know, that's going to lead to all types of trouble, man. That's the root of all evil. You know, that's the reason that the medical industry doesn't want to, you know, cure and get to the root of the problem, doesn't want to cure the symptom. Or they want to cure the symptom, but not get to the root of the problem. Okay, that's what they do. Okay, they just give you a little patch-up job because it's all based on the love of money. Okay, and it's absolute wickedness because people are suffering because suffering is what brings revenue. Okay, for the medical industry. So, you know, that's just an example of how, you know, loving money is just, you got to do wicked things for that money, man. Such as pushing, you know, wicked music like this upon our people, man. It's absolutely hideous. So yeah, that's it on that, you know. Lord willing, you were edified, you know. Just, you know, understand that, you know, there's great power in the tongue. So just watch the words you're saying, all right? If you got your head in this book, in this Bible, then you're not going to be prone to, you know, pushing negativity on our people. Such as what you're seeing in this wicked ass video, man. All right. Anyway, Lord, when you've been edified, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Qudash. All right, Shalom.